Hello, everyone.
Hello. How you doing?
Good.
Let me stop some music.
Yeah, I can do that.
Here we go. So
How
the
are you doing,
nice
Fred?
music stops. Very good, very good. I'm very excited to be back
Yeah,
again for this webinar. It's been a long time. It's been too long.
yeah, back on the slopes. We have a nice program for everyone today. But yeah, for those of you who don't know us, even though we'll give a couple more minutes for people to keep joining, I'm Charles. I'm a co-founder at Alpic. Yeah, I will actually do that just to be able to see if there is any comments or messages. I'm a co-founder at Alpic, and I'm joined by my co-founder.
Hi, I'm Fred. I'm co-founder of Alpic as well, technical co-founder. I'm very excited to be here today and let's give you a little bit more information about what we build at Alpic together with Charles.
Yes, and today the goal will be to tell you all how you can build your own MCP ChatGPT apps, leveraging some of the toolings we have been building. We'll share also some of the news that have been happening recently, some actually pretty cool ones for the MCP apps ecosystem. And let me just try and do the share screen if I manage to do that. Yes, it should be good with a little head. Yes, perfect. All right, so the first couple of things, news. Two fun stuff I want to share with you guys. The first thing is that, I have some slides about this. Let me just turn the slide. Yeah, this is the history of the MCP. I won't go over it again, but yeah, basically what happened in the month of April is that we have seen a little leaked video from Gemini where we can see that there are connected apps that you can basically add to Gemini Enterprise. And so this is a nudge in the direction that there might just be MCP app support in Gemini very soon. Of course, we have some more info that we are not allowed to share, but there's a good chance that we see apps in ChatGPT in the near future. So this is very cool. It means that you're not only going to have access to ChatGPT and Claude, which you already do, you also have access to Cursor, VS Code user, but this is more of a niche population, even though there are quite a lot of developers, more by the day. But yeah, Gemini is of course huge. So that's one big thing. The other big thing I want to mention is the dynamic discovery in Claude. So for those of you who don't know dynamic discovery, I think like these are slides that will go back and forth. Yes. Today in ChatGPT, if you want to add an app, it's a little bit painful. I would like a small gift to show you. So you go to app, you type in the name of your app, you connect it. There's no OAuth on this one either. Then you do the find the app, and then you do your prompt. So this is a bit of a long process. With Claude today, so for now, even though some people have said that they've managed to have connectors used that they haven't installed before, for now, it's working with the connectors I have installed. So I still have to install the connector, but I don't have to do the and the name of the connectors in this example. So I want to find a hotel in Paris this weekend. Hopefully, it won't demo effect. Yes. So it's automatically adding booking, even though I didn't ask. There's a bunch of questions, of course. I have more testing to do with this, but yeah, there's a question of okay, if you have 5 different hotel booking, there's actually a little widget that offers you which one you want to pick. If there's only one, it just calls it. So this is pretty cool. It's going in the right direction. I think the Entropic folks are actually moving faster than we expected on the MCP apps front. So yeah, this is very cool. Of course, it's changing the whole user experience when using apps because suddenly you don't have to like specify which apps. Basically, what Claude does is it has a search connectors tool that basically allow him to take in your prompt, search into the connectors that you have, and basically give a recommendation on what connectors to use. And I'm assuming it's using all of the server description, tool descriptions of your MCP apps as content to recommend the MCP servers. We'll have to see how this evolves. I'm really hopeful that at some point there will be a mode where you don't have to pre-install the connectors. But yeah, this is for the future. Okay, and so another small point about today. So for those of you who already have been joining a previous series, we have a little bit extra content, some extra spice, but of course, for those of you who are pretty new to the MCP Apps ecosystem or also start from scratch, just to give you a clear overview and make you empowering you to understand what this is all about. So let me go back to my little slides. Two things. First, there is, like always, a little tombola lottery at the end of the session. The Skybridge framework, which we have been building, which is fully open source, which Fred is going to demonstrate a little bit after. If you can give us a star, there will be masks, these exact masks to win. We have a little app that allows us to do the actual tombola. So it's fully vetted by a huissier, like we say in France. So it's legit. You'll be able. We have had already. We gave I think 200 masks so far. So please give us a star. Find the repo on GitHub. We'll appreciate it. And also, if you are asking, because yes, people tend to be asking why the hell are we wearing masks? Well, the reason is very simple. Before the five of us, the co-founder of Alpic, we actually had a little ski shop in the Alps. We were selling skis and masks and ski gears in general, but we decided to pivot into AI infrastructure and dev tools because it seemed like a promising venue. And so we still have a big stock of masks and skis to give away. And so this is the reason why we are always wearing our ski masks, of course. That being said, we have a whole set of tools that, again, we're going to show a little bit after that helps developers build, deploy, monitor, distribute MCP apps. We have ways to automatically test MCP apps. We are shipping currently features to help you submit those apps, which is also a big pain point. But anyway, I won't go too much into details. Let's talk about, one quick mention, we are listed on the OpenAI website as the first solution to deploy your MCP app. So check it out. We have been also building a lot of apps. We actually do that as well. We go skiing, we build dev tools, but we also build apps for people. In the last, I think 5 months, we've built probably around 40, 50 apps. There is like 20 that are in the stores and some that have been refused because deemed not valid, possibly with reasons. But anyway, we've been playing around with apps a lot. And so now let's talk about what are the MCP apps. If you didn't know, nowadays in ChatGPT and Claude and VS Code and Cursor, you don't just have a chat. You can have actual UI and widget. And so basically you get access to all of the users of ChatGPT, Claude, Cursor, VS Code. And you also retain control over your brand and user experience. Typically here it's you who are building those widgets and those views. So you let people control how they access your brand. You control the colors, potentially the fonts and everything. And it's your data as well. So it's accurate data. But yeah, you can transform the experience from a pure chat experience to having UI in the chat, which is amazing. Today, it's mostly used as a way to access the rest of your products, even though that's not 100% true. I will show you a couple of examples of amazing MCP apps that we found lying around. You get all of the benefits of MCP. You're able to have authenticated apps. I'm showing the example here of a Spotify app in ChatGPT. You just connect, boom, you get the login screen from Spotify. The minute after, you're able to ask ChatGPT about creating a playlist that's a mix of two of your playlists. So yeah, you're able to add OAuth on top of it, which is amazing. MCP is also widely adopted. You can, and this is what actually Claude has been doing, build smart tool search and discovery mechanisms on top of MCP pretty well, and model steering. The MCP also has been great foundation to guide MCP on how to best use the API you're using or your tools in general. Of course, I have to mention Claude. So yeah, Claude is here as well, but we'll go through it. I won't go into all of the slides that I have because some of them are pretty boring, but there is one thing that if you didn't see yet, I'm going to show because I always show it. It's the freaking Excalibur app. So if you're a developer, you know Excalibur. If you don't, Excalibur is this tool that we use to draw diagrams, wireframes, anything at some point. You start to use Excalibur for more and more things. And so it's a pretty UI condensed product. But so now with the MCP apps, I can say, hey, can you draw me a diagram that explains how the MCP apps are run on Claude? And magic. Claude's live one-shot diagram. The cool thing about it is that you can then open it and you can make adjustments. Because we all know, like, the first version is good because it gets you out of the blank page, but then you're going to want to edit the details and everything. And the MCP apps work great with that. You can also go and open it directly in Excalibur. And so we have seen a couple of other cool apps like this, but I think this is still one of my favorites today. Yeah, so this you can build directly in chat, which is great. So you can still make adjustments either via chat, via the UI. This works really well, I think, when you have a product that's UI intensive. I'm listing Canva here as well. I'm still waiting for the Figma stuff. Figma, you have an MCP, but it's more to pull data from Figma. You cannot like edit Figma well with the MCP. Canva, you can build slides directly. But yeah, so all of the UI intense products, MCP apps are amazing because suddenly you stay in Claude. You can give him context about what you're trying to do, and you can make adjustment directly in the same interface. So this is pretty great. You can also get out of the hell of the 1,000 filters. And this is like we have had good designers in the last 10 years that have managed to make UIs to manage such complex filters. So in this case, you have to select destination, dates, number of adults, pets, which amenities you want. Now with MCP apps, you can just type it in pure English. This was already true with MCP, but you can just type in natural language what you're looking for. The cool thing about the fact that you have UI is everything that requires visuals to make a choice. Typically, you're renting a house. You're not gonna, it's not gonna be sufficient to have a description from ChatGPT about what the house is. You want to see pictures, you want to see reviews, and MCP Apps is great for that. There are also a bunch of cool flows that you can enable where at any point during the chat, and this is where I will go directly to ChatGPT, at any point during the chat, you can decide to either use the UI or use the chat, sorry. So the first thing I want to do, I'll just do the cottages example. I want to always do the same. My wife, otherwise she's mad next week. And I'm going to also fire a second one with the commerce one. This is an app to resell your mobile phone before buying a new one. To resell my Google Pixel. Let's take a look at both of these. So this one, the cool thing is that at any point during the experience, I can say, actually, I want to go to Scotland. And ChatGPT can take over the UI and basically reload the entire UI with the new context. And hopefully it will do it. It should. I believe. Come on, chat. Don't let me down. Yes. There we go. So now we are back in Scotland. Of course, you can change the dates, you can change the filters, and a couple of interesting things, but you can always ask information about what you're looking at specifically. So you can see here, there's not a lot of context about what is in this rental, but I can say, can you tell me more about this rental? And there are ways to basically share specific context from the UI to ChatGPT. And so he knows I'm actually looking at the old stables. So he has more information. I can ask specific questions. For example, you can list all of the amenities, not necessarily on the card, but inside, so ChatGPT can answer. The other example I wanted to show you, so the buyback, I'm going to put myself in the UK just so that it's in English. Okay, I have a Google Pro, this one. And so here I have to answer questions about the condition of my device. And so I can just, if I'm confident in the answer, I can just click. But if you've already sold your phone online, you know that these providers usually have specific conditions, what is good, what is perfect, what is damaged. And so one thing I could do is I could send picture. I won't do it here because I don't have a picture of my phone, which is another problem. How do you take pictures of your phone? Classic problem. But or I can tell him, I can ask ChatGPT to tell me more about what is damaged. He has some context that I'm not seeing here. So yeah, basically giving me more, and so I can answer the question. I can say, okay, then perfect, yes, yes, yes. And ChatGPT can take over and answer the form for me. Of course, this is a pretty simple form, so you could have been clicking around in the different steps. But it's cool to see that actually ChatGPT can take over and move to the final step where I can just see the offer. And so yeah, this is what I call the kind of hybrid flows, where at any point it's either the model or the user who are manipulating the UI. And so this can make for very cool applications in general. I'd already show you this, the ability to ask anything about what you're currently looking at. It's actually something that requires a little bit of craftsmanship in order to build well, but Skybridge provides the tool for this. I will let Fred tell more about it. Last but not least, a little QR code that I encourage you to scan. It's a game that I built with Skybridge and that has not been accepted on the store, sadly. Basically, you can play with the MCP apps. There are more and more games. I've seen the chess apps, even though it doesn't work very, very well. But the cool thing is that the LLM becomes a player. And so in this game, you have 3 suspects. Claude has been murdered, and you have to figure out who did it. And so whenever you click on a suspect, ChatGPT takes the personality of the subject. It has some context about the murder. And so you have to interrogate each of the suspects to find the clues. And yeah, it's of course fun because you can tell ChatGPT to act a certain way when he's impersonating a specific character. And so yeah, this is just one example. I've seen Dungeons and Dragons apps that do the master DMC of the game, the narration apps. There's a lot of stuff you can do with LLMs, I think. So yeah, this is a good playground to be creative about MCPs. All right. The other thing that I had, I showed you the dynamic discovery already. There is a couple of other things that we are still waiting for. Payment is still not in ChatGPT, but it will hopefully happen soon, because today you still have to exit kind of the app to either go on Stripe or go on the website where you can finalize your buying flow, basically. And last but not least, it has been getting faster and faster, especially ChatGPT. I feel like this slide is outdated. It's more like 2 seconds latency nowadays, but it's still a little bit slow. But yeah, compared to 3 months ago, I think we went from like 5-6 seconds on average to probably 2 nowadays. So this is getting a lot better. That being said, if you want to build apps, now is the time for me to give the mic to Fred and Annette. There are questions I might have missed.
There has been quite a few during your presentation. It was very nice, Charles. I've tried to answer most of them, but if anybody still has any question, feel free to ask in the comment section on YouTube, on Twitter, on Twitch. We're also live streaming on LinkedIn, so feel free to ask wherever you're currently watching from, and we'll try to answer to the best of our abilities. A small reminder before we jump in the build part, do scan and give us a star on Skybridge repo. If you do, you'll get a chance to win one of those cool masks to ski down the slopes, and hopefully don't get too much snow in your eye while building apps. I hope it's going to help you in your daily life. It does with us. I'm actually biking using those glasses from home to the office every day. So people in the streets do look at me strange sometimes, but it's getting not too much.
They look at you with envy.
Will get used.
They look at you with envy. This is what it is.
They do. So don't miss on the opportunity to win yours. Scan the QR code of Skybridge and give us a star. We'll make sure to send one over. We'll make a random lottery at the end of this webinar, and we'll pull a name and make sure that the winner gets his mask. Let's continue today's webinar with my part of it, which is about building apps using Skybridge. So Charles shared with you a lot of what's possible to do looking at applications that are already in production. What we will look at today together is how to get from zero to a first version of your app deployed and ready to be published on the store. If you've already seen this, feel free to stick around. We've revamped a little bit the type of applications that I want to showcase today building an app. Especially, we have been focusing lately on helping people build apps that relies on attachment people upload in a chat. And we'll make sure to focus the demo of today on this specific feature. So even if you've seen before Skybridge, Kickstart Bootstrap project, stay around because the features that we are going to demonstrate today are brand new. So I hope you'll find something new to learn today. For those of you who are here for the first time and want to find out how to build app with Skybridge, let's jump right in. It starts very simple with the create command. This command basically will bootstrap everything you need to use locally. It can take an argument for the places where you want to bootstrap your project. So I will just go in a demo file upload folder. When I do so, what we're doing is first getting all the required skills that we have crafted with attention at Alpic to make a building MCP app with Skybridge feels like a bless, so that your coding agent know everything about Skybridge before you do. And so the first thing we do when you initiate a new project is provide you with a way to install those skills, which I'm going to accept. You can select which agent you would like to equip with the skill. There are the bunch already available through the common.agent protocol. But if some of your coding agents are using something outside of the common protocol, you can feel free to select them. I'm happy with the selection. I will install the skill locally on my project, and I will use the symlink recommended method of installation and proceed with the installation. So this is just installing the skill. Now that the skill is there, we are going to kickstart the demo project of Skybridge and install its dependency by accepting this prompt as well. And in just a few seconds, you see a prompt saying that you have now started the Skybridge project locally. If, like me, you have a lot of working processes on your machine, chances are the default 3000 ports that we are using for Skybridge is going to be in use, but we're falling back automatically to another port. And whatever your port is, the first thing that you should have a look at is the DevTools, which are packaged with Skybridge and are the easiest way to grasp what your app is looking at a given point and to develop it before going to production. These DevTools are available on the port the application is running at. So if I go, for example, on localhost 55,234, which is the port that's currently used for my recently bootstrapped application, I'm welcomed with what we call the DevTools, which is a web interface in your browser that enables easier exploring of the various abilities packaged inside your MCP application. Abilities being tools and views that comes with it in the case of MCP app. The demo application that comes packed with Skybridge when you run the create command is a demo application of a magic 8 ball that you can shake around, asking a question that will provide you with one of the 25 predefined answers. Same magic 8 balls that you find in real life, the strange one with the liquid inside that you can shake and ask question to. Just like for the real one, for the this demo server expose one tool to ask questions to the Magic 8 Ball. The tool expects as an input any questions that you might want to ask. So Will I do a demo effect, for example, is always a good question to ask, and prompt you with the ability to call the tool, so actually execute the tool on the server running locally on your machine, in your Skybridge server. Get an answer for it. So one of the default answers that was feedback from the MCP server is don't count on it. And if the tool response comes with a view attached, so that you are using a view to display a result to the user, the view is being rendered as part of the interface of this Skybridge dev tool. So here what you have is a simplified version of the same magic 8 ball being rendered with the question I was asking as an input of the tool and the response that was provided by the server. Don't count on it. This interface is your primary way of interacting with the server you're working on. Every changes that you will make on your local file system, on your Skybridge application, through your coding agents or through your preferred IDE, is going to be reflected and is going to be impacting this UI. So this is where you will spend most of your time before deploying for the first time. If I go back to my terminal and I will actually open a new Skybridge project, I will open a new ID so that you see, not this one, up, so that you see the project that has been generated. So it's inside here, and it's called demo. I have a lot of demo file upload. Okay. Let me zoom in a little bit so that everybody is able to follow, maybe too much. So this is the bootstrapped application. If I go inside the web folder, I will find everything related to views. And if I go inside the server folder, I will find anything related to the MCP server that is backing this application. If I take a look at the Magic 8 Ball view, the one responsible to render the Magic 8 Ball with question and answer, as you can see here, I have the 2 lines of React code application that is dedicated to displaying the question and displaying the answer. If I make changes to this application, I will see changes reflected in real time on the interfaces. So, for example, for the moment, I have the question and the answer. But if I change the answer not to be what is provided by the server as a tool output, but a constant answer that will be no, let's say, for example, I can see on my DevTools the view being updated with the new values that I provided. Of course, making small changes like this one is irrelevant to what I'm trying to achieve, building a full MCP app. But it's just to demo what is going to happen when you make changes in your code and how they are going to reflect inside the DevTool. DevTool is a way also to emulate components that are usually provided by the host, being ChatGPT or Claude. For example, you can change the display mode of your widget, you can change the theme, you can change the local that is being used inside the navigator of the person in case it has an impact on your app, without having to make those actual changes directly in Claude or directly in ChatGPT. And that's what makes the DevTool very convenient, is actually the very fast feedback loop it enables you to work on, because you don't have to wait for any changes to propagate through a dedicated host in order to see those changes reflected. But Magic 8 Ball itself is not going to be the apps we want to ship. I've mentioned at the beginning that we also package a skill together with the demo project when you create a new Skybridge project. What we're going to do is put this skill to good use and try to change our demo application to something that is actually a bit more useful. As I mentioned, today we are going to not build the usual Capital Explorer of Europe for those of you who've not joined for the first time, but we are actually going to build an app that leverages the file upload capabilities of ChatGPT app. This capability is a capability that is dedicated to ChatGPT, so you don't have the equivalent in Claude at the moment, but I'm pretty sure the protocol will catch on, and at some point it will become standard how to actually recover files that were shared during a conversation with an LLM. And what we're going to build as an app for this ChatGPT app is an app that is able to take any invoices from subcontractor or from anybody that is invoicing you, and actually ask the LLM to extract information using OCR from this document, provide it to your server together with the file, and update a fictional dashboard of pending invoices that you have around, with details of prices, including tax and without tax, and currency being used, in order for you to get a bigger picture of remaining invoice to be paid, without having to manually input from the invoice all values that are inside the PDF. So I'm going to ask Cursor here to try to build this app, and we'll see how it goes. I want to build a ChatGPT app that displays pending invoice. This app should take as an input file that is shared inside the conversation, as well as a price excluding tax, total price, and taxes. All this information are going to be provided by the LLM. What you will do is display in the view a dashboard of summed up values of all pending invoices, and even a small graph showing month after month repartition of those remaining invoices values. You can call the tool by itself without any payload if you just want to display the dashboard. For the purpose of this demonstration, we are going to keep file and current dashboard sums in memory and in file system. Okay, that's a pretty big prompt, but should be able to go through it without any issue. As you see, is already going straight away for the ChatGPT app builder skills that we packaged together with Skybridge in order to understand what it can do and build it from there. In case you're wondering, everything that we are building today is relevant to this specific part of the OpenAI ChatGPT app documentation about file input. Just in case it needs it, I will share it with it. For the specific file input, use this one, and I will send it right away like this. It doesn't ask too much question about how to put files inside the context of the application. While this is cooking, it's going to need something between 5 minutes. I'm going to show a few additional features that comes with Skybridge. As you've seen, we are running the application using our terminal, I think. Yes, we're still running inside the terminal. The dev tool is one way to consume the server that is running locally. You have your raw MCP server that is also running locally. But if you want to be able to test it for the first time inside the context of ChatGPT or Claude without having to deploy it, you can use the tunnel flag that is available on the Skybridge dev command in order to expose your local environment outside of your computer on a public URL. This is powered by Alpic account. So you need to create an account on the Alpic platform, but it's free of charges, and the tunnel flag is free for you to use as much as you want. It gives you a stable URL for those of you who are familiar with Cloudflare or ngrok solution for tunneling. It's exactly the same, except that everything you need to be able to build MCP apps. So there are 2 connections, without going into too much details, to be packaged inside a single tunnel, which was not supported by Cloudflare and ngrok. So we built our own solution to empower you with the tools you need to build in the best condition possible. I'm going to temporarily kill the dev command that I was running, go inside the demo folder that I just created, and rerun the exact same command, which is the Skybridge dev command with -- tunnel flag. Once again, my port 3000 is still in use, so it started on another one, 56176 this time. But since I put the -- tunnel flag, I'm now forwarding my local environment to a publicly exposed URL. So this URL is actually going to my machine. So if I open this URL inside my navigator, I'm again going to land on the DevTools I was showing before. And why is this very useful? Because DevTool, you could use it, you could already access it without any issue using localhost, is because if you go in ChatGPT and want to connect your app for the first time, you need to have a publicly reachable URL. And this tunnel URL is perfect for this specific purpose. I already added inside my list of applications on ChatGPT the URL relevant to the tunnel. But if you are doing this for the first time, it's as simple as going into advanced setting and enabling developer mode, and then adding a new application that you can name as you want, for example, tunnel, and copy, paste the URL that is been given to you. This is going to be stable across your whole life using the tunneling solution, so you don't need to change it as you move through various development of apps. Don't forget the /MCP at the end. You need to use the auth authentication part because it will also prompt you to connect with your, no, sorry, it's no auth, this one. And you can create the application. I'm not going to do it because I've already done it here. The only thing I need to do is refresh the app because ChatGPT is caching on its side available tools. Last time it interacted with my MCP server, I was using the tunnel a few hours before to develop another app. So in order to use the tool available locally on the brand new Skybridge application I just created, I need to refresh the app. And I'm pretty sure that Cursor already made quite a bunch of modification. So my state of MCP server locally is currently not in a good shape. And that's why ChatGPT was not able to reach it and actually retrieve the list of tools that are available to play with. I'm just going to wait for it to finish all the modification it's doing in order to have a stable build, and then we will be able to refresh the application metadata. While this do we have any question, Charles? Feel free to interrupt me in case there's somebody asking for stuff. But I guess all good. So now the refresh is stable. He just finished to change the interface of the server, and now I have a single application, a single tool that is being part of my server. If I zoom out a little bit so that I'm able to see stuff, I see that there is a view pending invoices tool that is being provided on the server, which matches what ChatGPT recovered from the server. Let's see if it's working. We can give it a first try. Yeah? We never know. Might be right on first try. So I can ask anything to the Alpic tunnel. I can actually add an invoice. So I have a bunch of them laying around. For example, this one from OpenAI, which is quite convenient. Add this invoice to my pending ones. And what this is going to do is let ChatGPT interact with my locally running MCP server, trying to call the corresponding tool. I see the UI already being rendered. So this was vibe coding from Cursor as the interfaces. This tool is a writable tool because it's going to make modification to my server. So it prompts me if I want to allow the use of the tool, and I want to allow the use of the tool. It tells me that a new invoice has been added. So I can see the amount that is being added here, 19 euro. I'm pretty sure it's actually what was inside here. Let's have a look. Yeah, 1917. So it's basically just to give you a little better understanding of what happened. If you're in developer mode and you want to understand what was the interaction between ChatGPT and your MCP server, you can always click this small button here, and it's going to expand a side panel on the right to give you better insight about what tool input was provided and what your server responded with. And you can see that running this actually prompted ChatGPT to provide me with the file. So I did recover the actual PDF file on the MCP server side for me to store it for later use, for example. Plus, it used its own OCR capabilities to extract information from this PDF and provide them as tool input. So as an MCP application, I did receive a PDF together with OCR extracted information from this same PDF. What's convenient with this kind of technology is that, first of all, I rely on the OCR capabilities of ChatGPT or Claude, which might be not that bad most of the time. Plus, I don't have actually to expense the cost of running the OCR myself. As a tool, as an MCP server, as an MCP application, I receive straight away the raw file plus the extracted information. And I'm able to update the dashboard with information related to this. As I asked during my initial prompt Skybridge skill, I wanted to have in-memory support of files that have been uploaded and prices. So let's try to input another one. If I go again on invoices and try to find one that is not too problematic. Yeah, one from Greptile. We're using Greptile for code review. Awesome solution, by the way. Add this one too. We are going to reinteract with the same server. It's going, since it's the right tool again, to ask me to allow for the server to be called. I'm going to say, yes, I do want to add this invoice as well. It's sending and should be updating the UI very, very soon. So I have the tool input that is there. Come on. No? Oh, yeah, here we go. So I have my two invoices, the 19 euro one from OpenAI just before, the 90 euro that I just added from Greptile. Let me check again to see if this is matching. Yeah, 90. It's USD this time. I haven't added support for currency, but this can be something to be added on the follow-up prompt. And I can see inside here reflected the two plus the total dashboard of January that is being expanded as well. Both of them were from January 2026. Okay, so it's quite good. I have a working version of my ChatGPT app locally. And now the easiest thing to do to be able to share it with the world, because at the moment, if I close my tunnel collection, like I just did, nobody is able to access the application anymore. So the next following task is to actually deploy it. And it's as simple as running pnpm run deploy. What it's going to do is deploy it on Alpic. I will use the current directory, deploy it in my team. I will deploy it to a new project, which is going to be the invoice app, using Node24 and the current root directory. And what this is going to do is, if you are not familiar with Alpic, it's the cloud hosting solution that we packaged at Alpic to help you deploy and scale, monitor, analyze, understand the different behavior, audit, and distribute your MCP application. Inside my team, I just created the new invoice app from the pnpm run deploy command that I shared with you. At the moment, it's currently deploying. So it just started 30 seconds ago. This is what you can see on my terminal here. When it's deployed, and I've made a similar app that I've already deployed just before, I have access to Playground, that is a version of ChatGPT app that we packaged with all servers that deployed with us in order for you to be able to play with it without having to set it up inside ChatGPT. It's a very convenient way for you to be able to share it with other person before you make it to the ChatGPT App Store. We also provide you with analytics to know who connected to your MCP app and what did you use it for, which requests were done, do you have any error, how many tokens were outputted from tool call, all this kind of information. Access to logs running in production to see what's happening. You have multiple environments that you can deploy if you want to have a production, a staging one to ship your modifications to before they reach production. Distribution to help you get all the information you need to actually go through the OpenAI verification, and the settings tab where you can change a bunch of information for the server that we are hosting. If you want to check if you're ready to go to the ChatGPT App Store, we've just released the beacon features that you can use to audit your application. So I will audit this one. No, it's still, this one is still deploying, but if I audit the one I just shared here, I'm able to run a bunch of tests on my MCP server to see if I'm up to standard on the various checks that are going to be performed by ChatGPT and Claude. The preview of the apps takes a little bit more time, but I can see already a warning, existing warning on my application that I should fix before I go to the final submission. And every test that on the other end passed successfully and that are going to provide me with potential approval from the first submission from ChatGPT. And this is something that we use on all applications that we build to make sure they are up to the recommended level of expectation before we go live in production and we submit it to the store. I think I've spoken quite a bit. I hope it was understandable and did just enough. Charles, do you have any questions in the chat maybe that I could answer before we call it a day?
Yes. So there's a couple of questions. The first one that I will actually display is, you're building a project from scratch. What would be the recommendation to best leverage Skybridge into an existing code base, basically? So basically, you started from scratch. If you already use it, if you already have something, what do you do?
If you already have something, if it's a monorepo setup where you already have your backend or existing frontend, maybe mobile application, Skybridge fits within this existing setup when you create a new project and source repository, because I shared with you how to build from deploying in the CLI, but the recommended way of having a software development lifecycle with subsequent update of your application as you push new modification to GitHub is to source your application from GitHub. And let's take this one, for example. If you select a repository, you have the ability to select a subdirectory as being the directory where your Skybridge application lives. And this is the recommended way to go through. If your setup of if your current setup of existing tech infrastructure is not on a monorepo, you can push your Skybridge application to a new dedicated repository and use this as source for your application. You will package in the server the SDK or APIs that are existing in your back office, in your backend application, to leverage features that you already distribute in a web or mobile application and distribute them in your MCP server like you would do with a new website. Does that answer the question? Or?
Hopefully. And also, I guess, if you already have an MCP app that you want to migrate to Skybridge, if you've been raw dogging with the pure MCP, the MCP SDK in TypeScript, which nobody does, or if you've been using Xtabs, which Skybridge is built on top of, you can actually install the skill of Skybridge and ask your LLM to migrate. It's actually doing it pretty well. It's just gonna add the code you need to move to Skybridge. That should be pretty smooth. There is another question from Pablo about what is the recommended way to monitor or measure the usage of ChatGPT apps when it is public.
The recommended way to monitor usage is using our analytics application. I'm going to share with you some from demo application that we package with Skybridge. Yes, everything apps is a good one.
I think it's in the bottom.
The bottom. of course. So I mentioned analytics as being one of the features that we provide with servers that are hosted on Alpic. You have a bunch of information when you take a look at this analytics tab. Let's take a closer look at what happened during the last month. So this everything application, which is a demo application that we package in Skybridge and host on Alpic, is receiving 4,000 sessions this month, coming from various clients. So you can see a little bit of Cloud Code, a little bit of Cloud AI as well. You can see a bit of OpenAI, Goose. You can see the playground from Alpic. So you have a bunch of various clients. And this already gives you information about where are your user located, what are they using as a LLM solution to interact with your MCP app. You get additional information about which tools they are using most of the time, which errors they are facing if your server is outputting errors, and the quantity of tokens that is returned by your server on average. This is a good indicator of the performance or how much you're going to affect context window of the LLM that is using your capabilities. The lower, the better. So make sure to always keep an eye on those analytics, especially if you want to answer the question, where are my users coming from and what do they use? This is a place to start to take a look at.
There is something else I might want to share. So it's in beta, so it's not visible in the platform. I can grab the screen share quickly.
Yeah, go ahead.
We have an insight feature that basically enables you to also grab the prompts. So this is actually on a test server that's using the Magic 8 Ball. But yeah, basically you'll be able to understand what were the questions that triggered your MCP app to show up. This is very useful if you want to understand, the typical user behaviors. But this will basically be another analytics will provide you with the metrics and potentially more technical metrics, and user insight is more to try and understand user behavior and the question user have been asking your tool. You also add a button that will help you categorize those intents, because if you have 1,000 calls per day, you're not going to go through them all, but will basically provide you with a quick way to both export these if you want to analyze them with Claude directly with ChatGPT, or also pre-categorization so that you're able to understand what are the typical set of questions your user are asking.
That's cool. Yeah, this is just out of the oven, so it's very fresh what you're showing, what you're sharing.
Very fresh. Last question. How can we get a copy of that check sheet before app submission? That's a good question.
Okay. Let me share again my screen up. So you're asking about the,
the beacon.
How did I put it? Yeah, it's here. Up. Okay, it's a beacon. So I'm going to show my last audit. This is the beacon feature that audits for you the various components of your server. It's accessible on Alpic with any teams. You just have to go to Beacon here and input your MCP server URL. When you do
it's
so,
free.
It's free. You will get an analysis run, and the results are going to be displayed inside here. You can always access the last audit using the top right button within a team. And we are working on sharing this report outside of Alpic if you need to. The feature will be out very soon.
I'm sharing with you, if you didn't have it still, the URL of the Alpic platform. Beacon is fresh out of the oven, so and feel free to send us feedback. I think it's time for a little lottery.
Looks like it.
I'm running. Let me just refresh. Make sure I have everybody. If you didn't, I'll give you 2 more minutes. Let me just give you the QR code again.
I'm going to show it. It's okay.
Yeah.
So the QR code on screen. Yeah.
Just scan the QR code, give us a star, and get a chance to win the mask. I'll prepare the lottery in the meantime.
Oh, we got quite a bunch of people participating. Yeah.
That is nice. these are like, there's not going to be an infinity of masks. So it's going to be very premium and collector. So yeah, you should grab yours while there's still time. Okay, and I'm running the lottery on my side. And the winner is Evgeny Bazarov. If you're still there, anyway, I have your email. That's good. People who put their email on their GitHub. So we'll reach out to you so that you can give us an address where we can send you your masks. Hopefully you're still in there. But anyway, we'll send you a quick email. Thank you for your star. And I think with that, unless there is any questions, we will the stream there.
Looks good. Once again, it was amazing sharing this 1 hour with you, Charles. I hope everybody had fun as much as we had, building, exploring the ecosystem, and getting ready for this new way of consuming services and product online. Go out there, build your own. It's quite easy to get started, as you've seen, and there is no reason for you not to start building with Skybridge on Alpic. Feel free to go ahead. We're always happy to answer questions if you have any, whether on the repository itself, if this is related to Skybridge, or by email on Alpic at support@alpic.ai. Always very keen.
Or on Discord.
Building.
Or on Discord
also.
Yeah,
so feel free to chime in if you have any issue or want to share feedback. We're keen on getting those. Thank you very much for your time, for your attention, for sticking with us during this live stream, and can't wait for the next one.
Yep. Thank you, Fred. Pleasure sharing this time with you. I'm sending the link to the Discord just as a last little message. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today, and hopefully see you soon.
See you. Bye.